Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be unboxing something very special. It is yet another fountain pen. Now, this video will differ from many others on this channel in that this was actually a Christmas gift to me. And so, full disclosure, I have already opened it from its external packaging. But I have not filled the pen or used it yet, so I thought it could be fun to film that. As you can see, this is an Opus 88 pen. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Opus 88, they are a Taiwanese brand of pen. This is the Opus 88 Demonstrator in this really cool, colorful color. I forget what they call it. I don't know what the color is called. But the Demonstrator comes in clear and a bunch of other colors. This is an eyedropper pen. It is my first eyedropper pen. It is also far and away the most expensive pen that I own now, which is why I think it was such a brilliant gift. It is a pen I have long, I should say coveted, never used, and was always curious about, and never put the money into to buy one for myself. And I think the definition of a good gift is something you want but would not buy for yourself. So, I'm going to open the box now, which has a magnetic closure here, a really nice touch. It is a box made out of blue kind of cardboard or whatever paper. Feels good. And here's what you find inside. We get a packet. It's an eyedropper system fountain pen. A lot of information here. These are the directions which we will need to follow. So I don't know if they include English directions. Oh yeah, they do. But, you basically uncap it, remove the section, I believe that is, from the barrel. I know my fountain pen terminology, but I'm a little rusty. I used to, whatever, it doesn't matter. I used to know it better. You fill the eyedropper, unlike every other pen I own where you fill the converter. You fill the eyedropper, you use the eyedropper to fill the barrel of the pen. You replace the section in the barrel, and then you unscrew this valve at the bottom of the pen. That's one thing that makes this pen unique. I'll show you in a minute, but you can see in this illustration there's a little black bar that runs vertically through the body of the pen. And what that does is it allows the flow of ink to the front, the section and the nib, to be stopped. So if you twist this all the way in, the bar will be sent forward to block ink out of the front of the pen. This prevents burping, which is a common issue with eyedropper pens, and is what makes the Opus 88 a good fountain pen for flying on airplanes, because the pressure can cause pens to burp. Okay, a lot of information. So you must unscrew this section here in order to allow the flow of ink, and then the pen should write. So let's flip over and read everything we just said in English, right? Place the pen vertically, remove cap, yada yada, hold the grip section, use the eyedropper, fill it up, twist the grip, onto the barrel section until tight. Release the bottom tail slightly. I like that they call it the tail. Until the ink flow to the nib, then you are fueled to write. Okay, now let's see what these notes are. When the pen is not in use, turn the cap and bottom tail tightly, so that prevents the burping. Release the ink before taking a flight to avoid ink leakage. That is the thing we just talked about. And to clean the pen, rinse the nib/grip/barrel section with lukewarm water. So much like other pens, you rinse it with water. And that is all the information included with the Opus 88 Demonstrator. Okay, now let's get to the meat and potatoes. This is what is included in the box. I believe if I remove all of this, we are left with an empty box. So let us go through the contents. This is the eyedropper that they include. It's got a gray rubber squeeze part, I don't know what that's called, and a metal dropper part. Feels good. We have, I'm setting these to the side, we have, I believe this is a small O-ring right here. I actually haven't removed this part from the packaging at all because I didn't want to lose this. And I'm sorry that I ripped this. I'm sorry. But you get what you get. And now the pen. Let's take a look at it. This is the Opus 88 Demonstrator in this fun, multicolored color. I thought this looked really cool online. I love color. I love, colorful things, and I tend to go one way or the other with color. I tend to go very colorful or no color at all. I don't care for, I almost said shades of gray or medium. I don't know. So I thought this looked really fun. I'm curious what it will look like with black ink in it, which is what I intend to fill it with today. Maybe it won't look as beautiful, but who really cares? It's a cool pen. And so some of the reasons I've long coveted this pen. Number one, massive ink capacity because it is an eyedropper filler. My favorite pen I own is the TWSBI Eco, and among the reasons it is my favorite, its massive ink capacity is high on the list. The other reason I love the Eco is it's just the best writing experience of the pens that I own. It's very smooth, buttery, but this is not about the TWSBI Eco, although TWSBI Eco is another Taiwanese-made fountain pen, so I'm very eager to see what Opus 88 has to offer. You can see it says Opus 88 right here around where the cap band would be. There is no cap band. This is the clip. It's very simple, and I like that about it. This is the, I forget actually if the finial is the top. I believe the finial is the top. It's what the pen people call the top of the cap of the pen, the finial. And in other pens, there will sometimes be, a logo there, but it's very minimal, and I appreciate that about it. Another thing I always liked about this pen, I thought looked cool on screen when I would watch videos or whatever, is I like the size and dimension. Size and dimension sound similar. I like those straight lines. I like that it's almost just a straight tube. Feels like maybe a slight taper this way, but it's not overly rounded. There are no cutaways. There are no, it's very simple and streamlined and feels good in the hand. It's a bit of a large pen. Trying to see if I have any other pens on my desk right now. Surprisingly, I do not. So I won't be doing a side-by-side comparison. Well, you know what? I have a couple. I lied. I do have some pens on my desk. I have a Schaefer No Nonsense. I have a couple videos of this pen on my channel. This vintage Schaefer pen. I have the, here, I'll set them down. And I will once again apologize for my dirty desk. I wipe it down after I get ink on it, and it does not get very clean. I have the Muji aluminum pen. I want to do another video on this pen at some point because I have exhausted the cartridge that came with it. I guess I threw it away. And I'm after a converter for it. I've done some research online, and it appears that, you know, there is one converter a lot of pen people online recommend for it, and it's just, I don't feel like spending the money right now for that particular brand. So maybe I'll do more cartridges, but I didn't love the Muji as much as I thought I would, and I think a big part of that had to do with the ink that came with it. So that is the Muji aluminum fountain pen, and I have the Kaweco Sport pocket pen, which is, you know, a very small pen. So I think in order of size, they would be like this. I don't have my Eco readily available. It's not far off, but I don't feel like standing up when I film these videos. I have I'm sitting down and I have a tripod right in front of me, basically between my legs, and it's a whole thing. I did replace my light that I used for earlier videos. Got rid of the one I've used for the last two. I did not like as much. I also have my Jinhao X159, the last pen that I bought for myself. A very inexpensive pen, perhaps the most inexpensive on this desk, next to probably Muji. Anyway, we're not ranking these in terms of price. We're looking at them by size. So these are almost the same size. I think the Opus 88 has a little edge on it, but the body shapes are very different. This, Jinhao is very much a cigar-shaped pen. So, anyway, that's not why we're here today. I really did lie when I said I had no pens on my desk. They're all over there. Anyway, I'm prolonging the Magic, I believe is the name of the album by band Cake. Look at those flecks of whatever acrylic, I guess. Yeah, I think it's really pretty. Maybe too whimsical for some, but not for me. Okay, it is a twist to uncap. Some people count the number of twists. It's a few. Do you see that? I never count. Sorry, this is a first for me. Some people say, oh, it's a 1 1/4, oh, 2 1/2. It takes a little while to get that off. And there's the nib. Opus 88 nib, very simple, unadorned, no flashy whatchamacallits, It is a fine nib, which I did not even know until right this second that the F for fine is on the side of the nib, as opposed to, is that what that is? That's an F, right? I'm not going crazy. I'm looking at this through my phone. Yes, that's an F. Okay, yes. Many pens, have the nib size indicator right on the front, but this is very simple, very streamlined. I don't know what size nib this is. I don't know my nib sizes, I know the Jinhao that I just showed you has a size 8, which is very big. Many pens have a size 6, which is smaller. Maybe this is 7. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not an expert. I never claimed to be one. One thing I did notice in my initial, investigation about this pen, when I say investigation, sorry, I mean, when I first opened it, when I opened the gift, it does not post, which is fine because I don't like to post my pens. And it's already, as we saw, quite a large pen. So posted, it would be, you know, enormous. So it feels good in the hand. The grip section is very simple. There are no ridges, no knurling, no, you know, triangular or whatever, like Lamy will do sometimes. Very simple, just these threads, but you can hold it. There's plenty of room here to adjust your grip. You know, you can hold it right up there, hold it here. Yeah, hell, you could hold it on the threads or even back here, whatever. I mean, this would be weird, but sometimes I do that for drawing to get more line variation, or I should say randomness. Line variation is different. Okay, when we unscrew the section from the barrel, you can feel the resistance from this O-ring right here. It takes a few twists to undo. Being an eyedropper pen, this is all that's keeping you from dumping this much ink wherever, you know. So there's a bunch of threads here that you untwist, and then there's this O-ring, and the O-ring prevents the ink from leaking out, and that is really nice of them. They included an extra O-ring in case, I guess, this one wears out or whatever. I don't know how long that would take. I've never owned an eyedropper pen before. I'm not going to rinse the pen with water before filling it, so sue me. I just don't feel like doing that right now. Yeah, and this is where the ink goes into the section, the nib, you know. I don't know what the feed is made out of on this. You're not really supposed to touch that part because the fins are fragile. It could just be plastic, probably. I don't know. It's an expensive-ish pen, so it could be made out of something nicer, but I don't know. Okay, enough fooling around. Let's continue. Here, I have some paper towels here. This one has already been used for ink-related things. There's that post that goes through the center of the pen, you can see. And if I screw the tail, as they call it, it will retract. So let's see if you can watch it move backward, which will allow the flow of ink into the front of the pen. I don't know if I continue unscrewing this, if it will fully come out, so to disassemble the pen and clean it maybe. I'm not really interested in finding out right now, to be perfectly honest. So I will keep this like this for now, and let's try our first attempt at filling an eyedropper pen. I'm going to use this platinum carbon ink in black that I love to use for drawing, writing, everything really. But, you know, I am second guessing myself that maybe I should be filling this beautiful pen with a different ink, with blue or red, the only other colors I have. Some people, fountain pen people, are real ink people, you know, they collect inks. I am not. I like black ink, and I've been thinking maybe I should branch out more, but not in this video. Once again, I don't feel like standing up. So we're going to remove the little thingy that comes in here to help fill pens. I've probably talked about it in other videos on this channel. This is a really nice, thoughtful thing. It's got a hole in the side. I will spill ink if I try to show you this too much, but it's got this hole in the side. So when you sit this upright in the bottle of ink, the bottom section of this will fill with ink, and you can dip your pen right in there and fill it up without you know, it being too messy. The reason I don't use it often is because I like these pens with large filling capacities. You know, if we, once again, to compare and contrast, grab our little Kaweco pocket pen, which I haven't used in forever, but this is the ink capacity on this guy, you know, really small. The ink capacity on the Opus 88, you know, to say that it dwarfs it is, it's not, whatever, not descriptive enough. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Point being, you can fit a lot of ink in the Opus 88. And this little doohickey would be maybe better suited for something like the Kaweco Sport. Maybe I should fill it with ink and use it again, but if you're a fountain pen person like myself, you are well aware it is difficult to keep too many pens filled and in rotation at one time. Okay, I will now fill the eyedropper with ink by squeezing the dropper, putting it in the ink, and releasing it. I got a small amount. Let's try that again. Do a few more times. Okay. I assume we're gonna have to do this a few times. So, like, what I mean is use a few eyedroppers to fill this bad boy. So, I am going to put the first eyedropper in here. Okay. Success. Let's go second. Some ink is getting into the threads of the Opus 88 of the body. I assume that is very commonplace. Just don't want it to be a problem. One perhaps intended, perhaps unintended consequence of the bar that runs through the body of the pen is that it allows the ink to flow more uniformly down. So you're not just spraying it everywhere through the inside of the body. I have the body pretty well filled. It's right under the threads. I assume that's, you know, okay. Hopefully I didn't overfill it. I don't know. I'm trying to clear any excess ink out of the eyedropper. I believe I've done as best as I can. I should have a cup of water or something, but I don't. So I will say this filling experience, it's much more precarious than your average piston filling experience, because not only do I have the open bottle of ink to account for, I have the very, very scary full body of ink here. Okay, I will now put the section back on and screw it. Feels pretty snug. And there is the pen filled with black ink. It does look kind of funny, but also kind of cool with the black ink. It's almost like a black marble or something. It looks like a whole different pen. It's pretty cool. I like it. Okay, so I'm going to move this off the screen. Let's get a piece of paper. Because I didn't rinse the pen, it will likely take a minute to get the ink flowing, but that's okay. I will once again be using my Stillman & Byrne Zeta series sketchbook, bought from my local art store. I will do a little zoom action on here so we can see really nicely. Okay, let's see. I'm really interested. I don't know how. Okay, we're just gonna need to coax some ink out of here. How can I do? Oh, yes, of course. This whole thing that I talked about, the tail, let's unscrew this, thereby moving the bar out of the way and allowing the ink to flow into the section and feed. I will hold it upside down. You can now see some ink making its way in there, right? I think. I'm not sure. Continue unscrewing this a bit. Okay, I think it's sufficiently unscrewed. Now let's see. I hold it somewhat upright, waiting. I'm not putting too much pressure. I don't want to, mess up the nib. I'm wondering. I also know that one thing that with fountain pens is if you hold them like this, it because fountain pens use capillary action for the ink to flow. When you hold the body of the pen in your hand like this, your hand warms the ink. And what that does is it causes the fluid, the ink, to expand because of, thermodynamics, right? And when it expands, that allows it to easier, flow through the pen. So we're not getting any action, any writing action yet. I'm wondering how much I'm supposed to unscrew it. Once again, I don't want to overdo it. I think this looks like more than enough to me. I'm not certain. Can wait around all day. Perhaps, maybe I should dip it in ink first or something. I don't want to do that, maybe, try to force some ink downward. I guess it just takes time. I know people do complain when they don't know about the valve, with this pen. They'll say, my expensive pen isn't working. You just must play the waiting game. You can actually see, I think there's a little condensation on the inside of the body there, barrel. I can't tell if that black bar in the middle is full of ink or not. I don't remember if that was clear or if it's just a black plastic part. Well, perhaps, maybe I'll just, for the sake of the video and time and whatnot, I will dip it in some more ink. Let's look over here. You can just dip the nib in a little bit of ink here. There we go. There's some ink. Just dip it in. Okay. Replace the cap. Okay, now let's see. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Readjust my camera here. Feels good. Yeah, I like it. This is a fine nib. I mean, I'm reminding you of the size, I guess, of the nib. I typically like to write with medium nibs, but I've been thinking lately that I should write with, or draw and write with more fine nibs. I'll do a little doodling just to, put the pen through its paces. One really cool thing about the Opus 88 Demonstrator pen that I've read online is that the nib units, the nibs are very easy to change. So if I decide, I'd really like a medium nib for this pen, you can buy one for a lot less than the cost of a new pen and swap them out. People say you can swap them out kind of on the go. Like artists will say, oh, it's great because you bring one pen and then you can bring a case with a bunch of different nibs and just swap them out as needed. And I would imagine that the shutoff valve really comes in handy for that, where it's like, oh yeah, that way you're not making a huge mess. I'm having a blast drawing with this so far. My first impressions, if I'm comparing it to my favorite pen, the TWSBI Eco, it's not as buttery as the Eco, which is fine, because I think the Eco is perhaps butterier than some would like. It has a little pleasant scratch to it. The lines are coming out precisely. I don't feel like I'm fighting with the pen. I know that I dipped it in ink, but it hasn't skipped once. I'm drawing relatively slowly with it. People who are real fountain pen heads will do these tests, right? If you're watching this, you probably have seen them on YouTube before, where they do these, I'm going to do cross hatches, and I'm going to do side strokes, and I'm going to do loops, and I'll do different speeds. I'll go, okay, these will be really fast, and then they'll do a streak, and they'll smear it, and they'll say, okay, how quickly is this ink drying after this pen? I really respect the hell out of people who do that stuff. I think it's great. I do not do that. I use the pen as I would. And I think one thing I love about drawing and the way that I draw and my relationship to drawing is I consider myself, if I'm going to sound, I will sound pretentious, just warning you, because I'm talking about what kind of an artist I am, right? It's hard not to sound pretentious, but I am an artist who I like the process over the product, meaning I like the act of drawing. I like the way that it feels to draw, and fountain pens have been instrumental, no pun intended, because they're drawing instruments, in reigniting my love of drawing. So to me, finding a tool that feels good in the hand, that feels good on the page, that inspires me to draw because the act feels good, that's important. And I notice that the mood that I'm in changes the way that I draw. I notice that the setting, where I am when I'm doing it, changes the way that I draw. I notice that the pen that I'm using changes the way that I draw. All of these things are variables, and I am not a professional artist. In case you can't tell, I'm far from it. I'm just some guy who likes to draw. So to me, yeah, look at that. I love this. I'm really enjoying this. I'm barely putting any pressure down right now. I'm just letting the pen do its little thing, and look at how fine we can get some lines on there. Yeah, I don't have to press. I'm not pressing down at all, and it is just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So yes, finding a pen that, wow, I'm just kind of enjoying drawing right now. Finding a pen that just does its thing like this is great. And if someday, maybe soon, maybe later, I decide, oh, I'd really like to get some bigger lines with this thing, I can just buy a new nib. It's also, there's a famous, you know, among pen people, there's a hack, you know, you can buy a Pilot Parallel, which is an inexpensive calligraphy pen. They come in sets, or you can buy them individually. You know, sets of them cost, you know, $25 or so. I don't know, actually, I haven't shopped, but they're inexpensive as far as fountain pens go. And you can take the nib out of one of these calligraphy pens and stick it right in the Opus 88 Demonstrator. It's just got the perfect size. People do it all the time. It's a very common mod for artists and other people who like to do those things. So that's something to try. And the calligraphy nibs, you know, they have all different shapes and sizes. And there's one that, you know, it's just like they're kind of like a big shovel, you know, like a big square. And then people will grind them to be special grinds, nibs. So it feels like this is opening a lot of doors. And look, these lines that I'm making with this pen right now, they're finer, more precise. They're lines I cannot make with my TWSBI Eco. I would not be able to draw this with the TWSBI Eco. I love my beloved TWSBI Eco, and I don't think that this is about finding a new favorite. I think it's about continuing my journey of feeling inspired, right? Following what feels good. Yeah, this is good. I like the Opus 88 Demonstrator. I can't tell if the ink is flowing through it yet, or if I'm still just working off of that one dip. But once again, yeah, has not skipped on me one time. That's really impressive. I feel like I could just sit here and draw all day with this thing. Now you may ask yourself, do I draw anything besides weird lines like this? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I do. But drawing from life, drawing from a reference, means that you can get it wrong. When I do this, I'm not getting anything wrong. I'm not going for accuracy. I'm going for, how does it feel? I'm living in the moment. It's a very Zen-like thing for me. Once again, sounding pretentious, but that's my relationship to this art thing. Okay, I will do more drawing videos in the future. I would like to do that. If you're watching this the day it comes out, it is about to be a new year. You know, it's December 30th, 2025. I hope you all are, you know, had a decent 2025. I hope you all had a good one, but I know it's a tough time out there for a lot of people, for a lot of different reasons. So, you know, wishful thinking. But I hope you all had a good year. I hope you all have an even better 2026. And maybe 2026, I'll make some more videos, and I'll do some just drawing videos, because I'm having fun talking and drawing. Okay, thanks everybody. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a great year. Thanks for watching.